I never thought I would ever have to write a speech like this. Therefore, I've never put the slightest thought into how I'd organize the lessons I learned, my thoughts, and my experiences. So I feel ill prepared to write this speech. So let me give you some background into my life. My name is John Leon Pennell. I'm 18 years old, and my academic career has been a roller coaster with its ups and downs. As far as I can remember, I've always been below average in all aspects of my academics, from tests to homework and everything in between, therefore quickly making me dread seeing my grades in school altogether. This also made my teachers think I was lazy and a lousy student. I will admit there were times when I was lazy and didn't do my best work, but I got it done. It wasn't until third grade that my teacher noticed I would pretty much forget things overnight, even though I was showing comprehension in the subject, prompting a meeting between my teacher and parents. After the meeting, my mom, a preschool teacher who had some knowledge about learning challenges, did some research. She took me to get a psychoeducational evaluation, where the doctor noticed I had problems with my long-term memory. Therefore, my dad, dogs, and I drove to San Francisco, where we joked that we survived on dog treats and teased my mom that she didn't know the struggle as she took a plane. We met with a neurosurgeon that recommended I get an MRI. It revealed I had an arachnoid cyst in my frontal lobe, which which was in the area associated with long-term memory, and he thought it could be mimicking dyslexia. So, what is an arachnoid cyst? It is a liquid filled sac that grows on the brain and usually doesn't cause any symptoms. But I was lucky enough to have mine mimic dyslexia. I like to joke that that's where I got my fear of spiders. After all this transpired, I was given accommodations for my schoolwork, and another test confirmed that I had dyslexia and a drop of ADHD. After receiving the results, I remember I felt disappointed because I was different, and no little kid wants to be different. But I am thankful for my early academic challenges because they made me the person I am today, and for all the people who helped me along the way. So now, what is this speech? Now, for what this speech is supposed to be. What were the lessons I learned? Three things that stick out to me would be: don't beat yourself up, don't procrastinate, and trust your parents because 99.99% of the time, they want the best for us. So, for my first talking point, let us imagine you didn't get a good grade on your test. What are some of the words going through your head? You can't do this, you idiot, or just the feeling of self despair? We've all probably said something along these lines, or maybe not as harsh or even harsher. I know that I certainly have, and all those times it didn't do anything but make me feel worse. It became an identifying factor when describing myself, and I never knew the long term effects of my actions until I got there. I for sure learned that words over time do hurt, but the words that cut the deepest and stick with you the most are the ones that come from yourself. Now, taking psychology, I've learned about growth and how I've been in a fixed mindset for years and how harmful it is for development. So, moving into my next stage of life, I made it a goal to make changes in my life, and one of those would be to go through the coming years with a positive mindset. Now, as a high school student, procrastination is nothing new to me, and I will assume it is not unknown to many of my peers. Therefore, the second thing I would like to talk about would be not getting in a constant mood. I have plenty of stories of how I've put things off to the point where it's become more of a problem than I anticipated. So let me give you an example of procrastination in my life. But before that, let me give you a little background information. When I get good grades, I have a tendency to stop giving it 100% and more like a 75. So now, my all-time favorite procrastination story. It would be when I was in ninth grade physics and we had to do a project regarding circuits and had to build a house. I created the house's exterior and glued some paper on the wall so it wouldn't look ugly. And now I have a move-in ready place. 3 or so days went by and the project was due the next day. So with the help of my dad, we added 3 floors and 3 different lights with their switches. Just as we were going to start making a video and submitting it, my mom came in and told us that she didn't like it and the lights were all the same color and she wanted them to be different. So I tried to explain to her that it didn't matter about the colors when we only had 2 different light colors, and it was already pushing 11 p.m. Still, she told me that she wanted to have everything a different color and have me add some furniture to the rooms. We looked everywhere for some more lights because no stores were open at midnight. My dad was trying not to fall asleep, and my mom and I were up to each other's throats and arguing at the slightest thing. So my half-conscious dad suggested that we just paint one of the other light bulbs a different color. After adopting his idea and filming the video, we went home at 2ish. I was rightfully criticized for how I should have used my time more wisely, but it was a very awkward car ride home with my mom after our arguments. How did I learn to prevent my procrastination from becoming such a problem? The thing that seems to be working for me is doing and turning in my work ahead of time so it can't be pushed to the side. It also gives me more time for me, which seems to be one of the problems with why I stopped letting off the gas. Finally, we all know that our parents love us and only want the best for us, and most of us have fought with our parents. I'd say trust them. If I didn't trust my parents with what they were doing, I would probably still be struggling with my grades and having this feeling of pity. I've always been I would have also held that mentality that I wouldn't amount to much because I felt that my life was judged purely on my grades. I would hear people say that school doesn't reflect your true abilities, but as a kid, I pretty much only knew school. So if I wasn't doing good, then there was something wrong with me. I'd also have people trying to encourage me, saying I can do it and things like that. But it's hard to take the encouragement if I couldn't believe I could do it myself. This led me to my subtopic, which is how important confidence is in life. So just being stuck in that feeling of hopelessness brings you down your spirits. And I have learned that confidence is essential in life and that we should not take it for granted. So in conclusion, I gave you some backstories as to why I would have never thought I would have to write a speech like this, what I have learned and found valuable from high school, and how I think these will help me in the future. So now, what I believe is the most critical part of the speech is thanking the people in my life who have had a positive impact on me. So first, I want to thank my parents for the way they raised me, their constant support in all aspects of my life, and for somewhat being understanding for the stunts I pull. Gracias, mami, para todo que hiciste para mí y mi futuro. Es tiempo para ti relajarse tanto como puedes. Si lo necesitas a vender algo para disfrutar la vida, todos sabemos que te las ganaron. Gracias por ser una mamá estricta y incluyéndome en sus negocios porque me enseñó cómo trabajar duro para el futuro. Te amo con todo que es posible. Thank you, honey, for always trying to help me in the ways you can, from Ferno the fire dragon to the catapult we made and everything in between. I love you and appreciate everything you did for me. I also want to thank my third grade teacher who didn't automatically think I was a lousy student, but how she thought and knew I could do better. Her confidence in me started my mom's search about learning challenges and how it helped me diagnose with a learning challenge. Following that, I was given accommodations that helped me show my teachers my best work possible. Finally, I want to thank my dogs. I know it's a little weird, but if you have dogs, then you know that they can make a bad day into a great day with their unconditional love. So thank you for brightening the days that weren't as bright. So I want to leave you with a couple of things. One, find something in your life right now that and see how you can change it for the better. And two, don't procrastinate until the end because you ultimately pay the price at the end. Thank you.